Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. So in the last Friday one, we did start talking about what's planned for the next release, which is BC25 that's coming up. And if you haven't seen the video, the BC25 release is the first jump version of Business Central. So if you have customers, before we get into other features, this seems very important at this moment. If you have customers who are planning to upgrade, they should upgrade before March next year, because there will be an additional upgrade step, which will be BC25 going forward. So the SaaS journey or even the on-prem journey will have to stop at BC25. So if you're talking to some of the prospects that are planning to upgrade to the latest versions of Business Central or even SaaS, I guess these 6-8 months are very important, because going forward, you'll not be directly able to replicate to Business Central SaaS from BC14 also. And the break version is, as in people who have done NAV will understand, it's just a new word. But break version becomes a version where Microsoft deletes everything which has been marked as obsolete for all these years. So Microsoft started this obsolete journey from NAV 2018, and any field or table that has been marked obsolete for all these years will be removed, and that's the reason there will be no direct upgrade from BC14 to 26 on-prem or to SaaS directly, because the schema will be different at that point. Any confusion, questions on that before we move forward? Okay, so let's pop up the what's new thing. We did talk about most of the development things that are coming in, because I was expecting a public preview. Most probably should be out next week, hopefully. That normally comes in the first week. So we should have something to play around, hopefully next week as we get into it. Till then, let's analyze what we have to review. Once we have the preview releases, we'll surely review everything that's under development. I was super interesting. It was super interesting to see what they're doing on governance and administration. So let's talk about those, because that helps people who have customers on SaaS, or even if you are an administrator for a customer on SaaS. So going forward, the biggest request, I guess, from the customers and partners is to increase or extend the timeline for an update, minor or major. So there are two major things into it. One, for major update, now customers and partners will get 5 months of upgrade period rather than 2 months or a month, which was discussed earlier by Microsoft. So there will be a 5 month period where you can delay your upgrades if needed, because at least in the last release with CU0, there were so many problems. I think that might be one of the reasons why Microsoft is extending this. Plus, there has been a request that 2 months or 60 days is a pretty less time to update the clients. So this gets up to 5 months. But with that change, there's one more change that's coming up into the major release, which is that you will only have 1 month to make sure that all your apps are compatible. Otherwise, Microsoft will have to force it, because the announcement of next release is 6 months between wave 1 and wave 2. So Microsoft can only give you 5 months of timeline. After 5 months, you will be forced to upgrade to the, you know, the to the version which is currently supported, because let's say right now, or next year in till February, you will be able to January, you'll be able to postpone your upgrade till February end, sorry. And then March is the time when the preview is launches for the next version. So they will be forcing every tenant who is not upgraded till then to the version 25. So it gives you at least customers a little bit flexibility on testing, and I don't think partners need that much time to fix issues. But I don't know. I can only speak for the company that I work for. We don't take that much time. But if there is time needed, I guess you have 5 months for the major updates. For the minor updates, they are becoming optional. So that it allows administrator to choose when or whether to implement minor updates based on the need and schedule. I don't know how they are kind of planning it, because in SaaS, every customer gets upgraded to each minor version. And that's the reason that upgrades are less time consuming in SaaS. But if given a chance to decide do they want minor updates or not, it'll keep them behind 2, 4, 5, even 5 cumulative updates. But there's a line which is a little bit confusing for me. It says the default behavior of environment receiving update every month doesn't change. Instead, a new environment level setting make it possible to opt out monthly minor updates. So hopefully there will be a boolean per environment where you can check or uncheck that do you want to opt in for minor updates or not. But here is a little bit of confusion. The grace period after the update period for the next major update shortened to 1 month, which makes sense here because the next major will be available. Update will run and can't be postponed to a later date during the grace period. So once you get into the grace period, which is August and March, you'll not be able to postpone it further. They'll be forced on you. But I'm a little bit confused about this optional minor upgrade. Because if you have a customer on SaaS who opted into not to apply minor updates, how it works when they get into a major update, because they will be going through a 5 upgrade cycle. Because I don't think that Microsoft will be able to directly hop in someone from, let's say, version 25 directly to 26. Till now, what they're doing is 25 to 25.1 to 25.2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 26. So it'll be a little interesting to see how this optional minor update thing changes the whole upgrade cycle from Microsoft, because right now you only need to block 6 hours of time, I guess, to do an upgrade. But let's see how that impacts that. Any thoughts, questions about it?
Yeah, so how the thing will work. So if I'm say on 24.4 or 5,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I can wait up to March to go on 25. Now, when I will go to 25, and if I don't have this any updates, minor updates,
So
so
this will
26
start,
will
sir,
not be
from
forced
25.
for, yeah,
This will be 25, right? This will start from 25. So anybody who is on 24 point something, they will be forced to 25 for sure. This will start once the 25 becomes live. It says journal availability in March 2025. So that means 26. This feature will activate from 26, version 26,
yes,
not before that. So let's say you are on 26.2 and you set optional minor upgrade. So you'll not be upgraded to 26.3, 26.4, 26.5. And then as 27 gets released, then you will again have 5 months to delay it for the major one. So you will be 10 CU behind when you were forced to
upgrade.
upgrade. But
And that means
it'll be
upgrade will
interesting to
be,
see.
if it goes one by one, then it means 10 upgrades in one go.
Yes, till now it goes one by one. We had a customer, not now, in the past, in version 18 or so. They were postponing their major update for a very long time. And initially, Microsoft had longer timeline. But when they transitioned to us and we fixed all their issues, because they had some issues with app to the source code of the app and all. When we started their upgrade, every 6 hour window that I used to set, it was only doing one minor. So it was happening one minor, and then I had to go back, allow it to do it again 6 hours block window, and then again one minor update. So that was happening till now. I don't know, will Microsoft, with this scenario where a customer can be 10 updates behind, will find a direct path, which is possible on prem, I know, but will it be possible on SaaS? I have no clue yet. Because from an execution perspective, you can do it all the way from, let's say, 26.2 to 27 on prem. Microsoft does it step by step because that guarantees them that in that 6 hour window, they'll be able to upgrade the client. But then this optional one will be a situation that we should surely review, and I can check on my CDX by postponing 2, 3, or 5 updates on one of the tenant and see how that works. But yeah, that's coming up. Let's be ready for that. But it's in public preview for 2024 in October, so I'll be surprised if we cannot test it out in BC 25. Hopefully we will be, because public preview is okay. It's a little bit risk, but you can run it on your test environment for sure. Now this is one of the need for people who deal with upgrades day in and day out, and it seems a pretty good step from Microsoft to kind of make sure that things do not fall between the cracks. Because what used to happen is there are certain tables that you cannot directly upgrade to Business Central SaaS, irrespective of version from where you are coming from, and that is defined based on the property on the table, which is replicate data. So when, let me open app or extension. When you go into the system app or system, all these tables, and there are other tables also, but let's talk about the record link at this point. The record link table is marked to replicate data as false. Either you do it from BC 14, either you do it from any version of BC after that. Because this property is set to false, this table is not considered when the data gets copied from your on-prem environment to your Business Central SaaS environment. And then, like everybody, we also have a hack to kind of move that data. But it seems that there is a lot of request for it. So in the migration process or in the replication process, now these tables, this table specifically, record links table, will be part of the cloud migration tooling. Now, will that be direct or not? That'll be a little bit interesting to see, because from NAV, especially from NAV, notes will go as it is, but the record links are a little bit, or links are a little bit tougher data to update, because they may point to your local server, to your shared drive. And that is something that even if it gets upgraded or moved to cloud, you will not be able to access them. So what we do as of today is we update those record links on-prem first to a online storage, either SharePoint or Azure Blob storage. And once those record links are updated, we'll move to a custom table, move them to SaaS, and then write a process to write it back to record link. But I don't think Microsoft is going to build something where these links will be automatically replaced. But these tables will directly go, you don't have to worry about them, and the data will be available on SaaS. You still will have to you will have to update the URLs in the record links. The node part will come as it is. That will not be a problem. Okay, anything on this? Or should we move forward? Okay. Now this is a new one, and I'm still thinking how Microsoft is going to do that. But you will be able to manage your PTEs in admin center like you manage your app source app, because app source app was treated differently than PTEs till now, but it'll be easier going forward as per the article to manage PTEs for administrator to deploy, maintain across different environments and tenant. So in this release, Microsoft is introducing a new feature that let Business Central administrator to manage PTEs from admin center in and its API, similar to how app source app can manage today. This feature saves time and effort because admins can manage PTs across different environment and tenants without to go into the client on each environment. Okay. So there is this admin page. Hopefully they are adding it here. Let me open an environment and show it to you. So on an environment, as of today, you have this apps area, and then you can see all the app source app here. I'll be a little bit surprised at how they can do it from here, because you surely need a file that need to be uploaded and updated in case of PTs. But it seems there will be an action or something added here so that they don't have to go inside a client and manage it. And this is not for partners, more or less. This is for administrators who are managing PTs and apps on Admin Center. This is very good because this is taking a lot of time for a lot of partners. People who are not using DevOps pipelines, CI/CD pipelines, they surely have problems to check how much their app is compatible with the upcoming release. Does my PT have a breaking change? Which takes a lot of time to analyze as of today. But with this, it seems you will be able to treat your PTEs as an app source app. So the environment update will include a change in functionality that installed app depends on which in turn can break those apps. So till now, only notifications were sent for app source app. So if app source app were failing, only the app source team was receiving the message, not you. But to make it easier and to plan the changes ahead of time to avoid failure, you can now view app compatibility in the admin center directly. You are also prevented from scheduling an update to a version that installed app are incompatible with. So just to make sure that your upgrade happens smoother and cleaner, you will be able to see all compatibilities of all your app source app, and it doesn't mention PTs. I don't know where I was thinking about it, but you'll be able to review which apps are not compatible with it, because till now you don't get a notification if your ISV app is not working. So it's a good change, because that at least as a partner will also help you to see, oh, the updates are not failing because of my PD. It is happening because of XYZ ISV or add-on that customer is using. Questions, thoughts on this? Okay. Job queue background processing. So in version 22, if I'm not wrong, or 23, I guess, Microsoft build an external event. If you haven't used it, it's a nice event which allows you to invoke Power Automate flows from your external event, which means from Business Central Code. Microsoft gave some templates around document posting, running out of balance or things like that. But in this release, they added one more external event, which is when a business event occur category, which will be handling job queue failure scenarios. So if a job queue fails, by using that external business event, you can now easily will be able to start a Power Automate flow and then send out a notification either to the user whose credential are used to run the job queue, or to the notification recipient that you have set on Business Central Administrator. But because you are setting it up on Power Automate Flow, you can also add additional email IDs to it. I don't think that will be a problem in the Power Automate Flow. So if job queue is a problem, that it fails and your customers don't get notified, you'll be able to handle it with the help of Power Automate Flow using this external business event when a job queue fails. Okay. Anything on this? Okay. Get list of manageable environment for Microsoft Entra apps. Now, what are Microsoft Entra apps? Microsoft Entra apps are those app users that you create in your Azure. By using those apps, your external parties can interact with Business Central data via APIs. Now, because that opens the door for a lot of access to your Business Central environment based on the secret that you generate and the permissions that you have given, it's very hard to remember who is using which app. So it seems that they are building something in Microsoft Entra app that you have, which is this page. If I can run this somehow. Okay. And then it's also in the center here that you are allowing these apps to have access to it. So only these apps can interact with you. So there are some additional enhancement coming to it that will be introduced in for partners in 2024 to manually keeping it so that you don't have to manually keep the list of environment that you are managing, and you'll be able to do it from the admin center directly. Okay, and then there's a minor update which also brought a new thing into it. So let's see that now, and this is for people who do Power Automate, you can now link to a particular Power Platform environment. So if you have multiple Power Platform environment, and let's say you have a test Power Platform, separate environment for test and a separate environment from production, you can now set a business and link a Business Central environment to a specific Power Platform environment directly into it. So all your interaction that are happening from that environment will directly go into that particular Power Platform environment, like when an external business event occurs. Now, if you have two Power Platform environment, where it should go, so that will be controlled by this setting here to link a specific Power Platform to your database. Okay. I'm not sure what this is, but there is a IPv6 enhanced security and scalability support that is coming up. So starting 2024 wave 2, Business Central supports IPv6 addresses, and that's just for the security features that are required for Business Central SaaS. So this is all that's coming up on the governance and administration section for Business Central. I think the important features would be that you can delay your upgrades. It's something that we need to test it out for sure, but it seems pretty optimistic that it will be there. And then if our customer administrators can manage their PTEs in Admin Center. I didn't find anyone who gets worried about job queue that much, but yes, if there are people who get worried about it, then this enhancement surely help them. Okay, what else is there? Are there new countries being added? What are those? As in, are there any countries left in the world where there is no Business Central? Okay, our partners in combination. Oh, so it just says 180 plus countries going forward. I don't know which are those new countries that are being added. E-document, I don't know. Sandeep sir, are we using e-document features in India somehow? I don't know this.
We plan with the next release.
Okay. Okay, as obvious, Microsoft seems to have a lot of focus into the Copilot and AI area. And you might have seen some of these examples from different MVPs who are talking about AI. So there's a lot of enhancements seems to happen. There is no pricing at this moment. I don't know till when that is true. But based on the update, it seems that the partner ecosystem, while building apps for app source, is also considering Copilot and AI in their solutions. And we'll talk about it as we go forward. Suggest number series. So uh, I should not be spelling his name wrong, but Dimitri, if you have attended his sessions and have seen things what he's doing, he did talk about a building a model inside Business Center, which is something like this, where it can generate number series setup for you. In his example, it was proposing for throughout the system, and the way it works is that it looked for the number series field in all the tables, and wherever he found it, he just added those table in his prompt indirectly behind the scene. And then when user clicked on it to generate, it populated number series for all the tables where I had number series. It seems that has been accepted or adopted by Microsoft, and this will allow you to automatically more or less generate your number series pattern for your company that you're creating. Chat with Copilot and learn to use installed add-on apps. Now this is interesting because at this point it goes into the area where the Copilot is going to read the documentation of these ISVs or apps that you have. Because when you think from a Microsoft perspective, whenever you try to submit an app, it's mandated to submit the whole help document link that where you can go and read about it. So it seems, and I can be completely wrong, that Microsoft is going to utilize those links, knowledge, and bake it into the Copilot feature that's available in Business Central so that it can answer questions based on the user that's asking it. So there was a chat conversational feature. I don't know why they are saying that it'll be out with 2024 release wave 2. Maybe this is something different. But what we have seen is this button allows me to chat, right? I can just directly go and ask questions here. So I don't know if there is something new coming into it or this will be an enhancement to this. But user can ask question about the installed add-on, the new pages and the fields in business process. And then the Copilot will go and based on the documentation provided by the apps, will try to get the answer for you. This feature is available as a production ready for production and sandbox environment for any country localization. And based on the country that you are in, you might have to manually allow it. So there are some countries where rules are a little bit strict around the data. So in that case, you need to go to this page called Copilot and AI capabilities. I'll not see it because I have a US Senate, but countries who don't have it, you will get a Boolean here to approve it or give the consent that the data will be shared more or less or used to answer your questions. So if you're not seeing it, maybe come to this page and check if you have a Boolean here to enable. Copilot is built on approach of security and responsive AI. That data is your data is your data. Customer data in Business Central is not used to train AI models. Okay. So this helps at least to the partners who have built a good, healthy documentation of their apps so that their partner can get answers using Copilot and don't have to reach out to the partner every time when they have issues. Bank account reconciliation faster. I guess this was already done. I don't know what Microsoft added into it, but this was part of the previous release, if I'm not wrong.
They're improving it.
Okay. AI powered transactional match, AI powered GL account suggestion, where Copilot suggests most likely ledger entry to post residual transaction and built in demo data. Okay. So this screen was there already, right? that it first used to do the code part of doing an auto match, and then it used to go and send that data more or less to the Copilot, which was then trying to match based on the records that are in both the systems. We'll see what comes up with that. This was already there. Create products information faster with Copilot. I guess this was there already in the item card. So because product information is I'm assuming, so this was already taken care of. Yes, it was. Oh, now I'll start suggesting you item variants.
Yes, you can get the list of variants with a single click.
Nice. Okay, so now Copilot can help you to add items by using information of similar item and suggest variants, unit of measure, substitution, and dimensions. So, okay, that's a good feature. Suggest variant and then start suggesting new variants for the item. Nice. Yeah, because I thought it's just for the Shopify piece, but if it is doing something from business center perspective, that seems good. Summarize any record with Copilot. Whether you are looking for customer detail, large orders, or any other record, you might spend a good amount of time to understand the current stage of the data and feel that matters. Okay, how it does this? Ask Copilot for a concise and textual summary of any record, even for data from custom tables. You can interact with the summary to immediately go to the highlighted field or related data and get assistance with the next step to chatting with Copilot. To view the record summary along with the thumbnail and the important field, you can peek into related record, and developers can write AL code to enhance summaries with even more insights.
So on-demand pivot chart, kind of, or
I
analysis, what we've got.
Yeah, I guess when they said that there will be a thumbnail and important field, they were talking about the brick view of that record. And I guess because why I'm saying that is because developers who will write AL code is majorly will be able to enhance or modify the entities which are part of Business Central. Will not go into the AI domain. Whatever the response that AI will give them and whatever format the AI picks to show the output, that they can modify. Okay, nice. Let's see how it goes. Experience enhancement to analysis assist with Copilot. To update, support 14 more languages. Okay. Copilot can draft analysis tabs using any field from the list, including columns that may be hidden on the page. Nice. A teaching tip displays whether you modify the draft analysis tab, explaining why specific user interactions signal the desire to save the draft to continue to work with or without Copilot. Improves readability. Yeah, because till now it was only acting on the fields which are visible on the list page. So if it can act on the fields which are not shown visible to the users, now that can become a little bit tricky, because what about the permissions? If I'm hiding a field based on what I want user to see based on sensitive data, if you start including fields which are not even visible on the page, that is something that can be a little bit trickier situation for users, customers. Because I have seen customers where they're
On those pages, you can stop analysis view.
Yeah,
Then
you can. You can, yes, you can surely means remove that. And if the analysis view is not available, then I'm pretty sure the Copilot action is also removed, right?
it should be, because you won't be able to get to that page.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's the only option, because I've seen customers who are very specific about what fields which type of user should see and what fields they should not be able to see because of the sensitivity of the data. So as a developer, it sounds very good that you can just refer any field which is on the page, either visible or not. But from a user perspective, it can be a little bit tricky. But as Sandeep sir is saying, we might be able to control the visibility of analysis view on those kind of pages. Start using Copilot without having to set things up. Okay. So yeah, this is that Boolean which I was talking about. That people or regions where Copilot is not allowed at this moment. For those reasons, or where data privacy laws are pretty strict, they have this Boolean to allow data movement, and then they can also check where the AI service is located. Is it in their own region or outside the region? Then they decide do they want to use it or not. So like in United States, UK, India, and Australia, they can use the Azure OpenAI service availability because there are no setups needed. But for all other geographies other than these four, they will not be open by default. And for newer environment from version 25 or later, administrator need to enable or disable based on what their local regional requirements are. Okay. Now this I can only do per environment. I can't do it per AI feature as far as I remember it. I can deactivate a feature, and then only that feature which is active will be utilized. Okay. So they're just going by the laws and asking administrator to approve that if the users can use AI capabilities or not. Okay. Sales line easily with Copilot. What's new in this? It was already there. In addition to find product and find document by reference, Copilot can combine them. It can find documents and then search for products on document lines. This combination can be particularly useful companies that often work with blanket orders. The find document by reference skill now includes sales blanket order as the source document. Okay. Also, it now supports unit of measure. Copilot can try to use the unit of measure you specify in your prompt, but if that isn't found, it falls back to the sales unit of measure on the item. Attachment are a longer journey that starts with a CSV, which you can see on the bank reconciliation window, where you can drag a CSV and give it to the Copilot. Copilot analyzes the structure of the attached file and identify things like fields, row separator, date, decimal format, column, and headers. It suggests field mapping and fill in the product and quantity. Oh, so I can be wrong here, but it seems that I'll be able to drag in CSV of sales lines that I would like to include in this order, and then it'll be able to read that and add that into my sales line.
So it's
How does
more
that
like
help?
if I'm getting order through a text file or something, I can
Yeah,
use that.
yeah, nice. So you don't have to write crazy codes to read it on a CSV buffer or an Excel buffer and then put it into sales line table or sales order. Okay, sounds interesting. Let's see how that shapes up on the sales line piece. Now, this is why I said that there are partners in the ecosystem who started selling solutions with AI or Copilot capabilities. Microsoft introduces automated tests for Copilot extensions. So if you're building extensions with the Copilot features, then as any other extension for app source, there are mandated automated tests. But Copilot was missing out from the automated test part. So Microsoft extended the automated test library, and now you will be able to, if you are trying to ship a solution with Copilot, to write automated tests for Copilot. Now, how that will work? A pretty interesting thing, because automated tests are supposed to run automatic, get a response, and then expect out of it. But when I'm dealing with the AI, Microsoft says it, that AI responses can be incorrect. Will my test fail if my AI response is not the way I'm expecting it? And is that acceptable while I'm building a solution for Copilot? Because Copilot responses may be incorrect. So it'll be interesting to see how test libraries get extended and what kind of test they are doing. Because even if I'm baking in a feature and I'm writing other tests that open up a page, put this into the prompt, and then hit this button, get the response back from AI, and then parse that response. But if the response is wrong, which can happen in case of AI, then how I deal with it, because there's nothing to test from a development perspective, because any AI feature that you use, it gives you a suggestion, and then you as a user finally decide that should I accept this or do I don't want it. So there is no success or failure, it's just a suggestion to you. It says author test for your prompt dialog using familiar framework in AI. Organize your test data set based on the purpose and prompt variation. Implemented automated verification depending on your feature use case. Run test as fully automated or semi-automated. Now, semi-automated is something that I can run, but when I'm thinking from an app source perspective, those tests should be automatic so that Microsoft then can run it. I'm pretty sure there's no one sitting at Microsoft Office and running these semi-automated tests. But it'll be interesting to see how that shape up. Any thoughts on this one? The whole AI Copilot piece? Okay. So we did talk about country region, we did talk about development last week, we did talk about governments and administration. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of this area, but if any of you find this interesting, we can surely go ahead and look into it. Um, it seems they are still enhancing, and they did promise it in the last Directions Asia that they'll work on the sustainability piece, and there seems a lot of sustainability enhancement. So as far as I remember, when I checked it, in India, it's going to be mandated in next 5-6 years, I guess. But if you have customers who are talking about it, then surely look into it, because Microsoft is open for suggestions right now if you think that something is very specific to your region from a sustainability perspective. So they did talk about in the last Directions Asia that they will be trying to extend the sustainability app and include the purchase area to make sure that all kind of emissions are reported in the purchase documents and all. So when user receives emission information on their invoices from vendors, they can promptly include those values into purchase invoice or order. Hmm. Okay, so now there is a new account, it seems, that you need to map in your uh, postings, posting groups, where you map your different account, which is called sustainability account. And then during your purchase posting, it'll automatically transfer the values, if they are part of your order or invoice, to the sustainability journal and ledgers. Nice. So you don't have to separately go and deal with the sustainability part of it. Okay, sustainability ledger entry. So yeah, going forward, you'll see a new entry if you have sustainability calculation on your documents. What's happening here with financial report? So user can choose a new totaling type in financial report line sustainability account, referring to the sustainability ledger entries, and then you can utilize the different kind of emissions that are part of it. Purchase carbon credits. Oh, On item card, you will get to see GHC credit field on item to treat as carbon credit. When you set up the carbon credit item type, the carbon credit per UOM field is enabled so that you can specify the credit value. Okay, so it's going on different areas of the application, especially purchase at this point. So I'm pretty sure it's nobody's talking about it in India right now, but this is going to be sooner than later coming into North America and India. I guess first in US and then in India for based on the size of organizations. In Europe, I guess it's already in where you have to report it as a legal requirement of your footprint or carbon footprint and other greenhouse effect gases. So if there is a customer who's talking about it, I guess that there is a little bit of work that Microsoft have already done into it, and then they are open if you have any specific requirements in your region. They have a new role center for it. Nice. Scorecards and goals.
I'm already thinking about misusing it.
But then if it becomes mandated by government, then you will have to print it on your documents.
I don't
As
know.
a yeah, because I guess the start of the sustainability app came from the Europe, where only it was for the top 50 companies in the country, I guess something like that. And starting this year or next year, they are making it mandate to a SMB section where all these business central customers fall in. And that's where there was a need that otherwise the product will be rejected in those regions where sustainability becomes important to report. So I don't expect it to happen to SMBs in India directly as soon as it starts, but slowly this will get into the picture how we start taking around the emission effects and all. And it's a separate app, so that's nice. It is not polluting the base app for sure. Okay, so if you're on LinkedIn and following different peoples from Microsoft, you would have surely talked about seen this. This was shown under NDA in Directions Asia. So people who were there, they're not allowed to take pictures, so on and so forth about it. But Microsoft promised in last Directions Asia that in the next version you will start seeing some signs of it in your next release. So embedded Power BI reports out of the box. Now these are not those Power BI reports that were there in the past, where on the customer card you see a Power BI fact box and then you plug a report. It's and I don't know how they're pulling it out, but it seems a new page type will be available. That's what being said on the last Directions Asia, which will be a full-fledged page to have a kind of a dashboard of different things that's being done, and that will be directly you will be directly able to access it within Business Central. You don't have to go to Power BI and do stuff over there. So right now it seems that there will be 14 finance report, 12 sales report, purchasing 13, inventory 7, manufacturing 11, and project 6 reports that will be part of your Power BI out of the box feature. So the way it was shown to us, it was a full-fledged page, kind of a dashboard of different activities from different areas. I guess we were only shown the finance side of it, and it had different graphs, and uh, it was a completely different page in Business Central. So I don't know how they are doing it right now, but I'll be looking toward it because it brings something which was missing from Business Central for a very long time, which are KPIs. And it'll be interesting to see how Microsoft does it on the Power BI side, because as far as I've heard from people, if it is directly interacting with the production database, it is slowing down the system. And if it is referring to a test database, then your data is not up to date. Now,
But you use replica for it, right?
yeah, there's a hot and a cold replica of it, right? Environment. But I still have heard that there are problems. And then when I talked to Microsoft in last Directions Asia, they did direct me toward a Microsoft article which talks about the whole reporting story. Now, reporting story was pretty interesting to see that if you're building a Power BI report, you're not building it to see the impact of it in next 10 minutes or half an hour. Then you are choosing the wrong tool to build that report. Those daily operational report where you need to do things, then you need to build RDLC report for it. If there is a need of analyzing certain data and getting it out of it, Microsoft said, we have given you analysis views. If you don't like it, use Excel reports. You can do the same thing there, which is acting on the current data set that you have. And if you are looking toward a year by year process or a longer term report, then and only then go to the Power BI. But from a warehousing perspective, data warehousing perspective, because KPIs work very good if they are fetched, if they are calculated at a data warehouse and then used on the Power BI. So I don't know how KPIs are built in these reports, but if they are built on a warehouse, oh, that'll be great. As in, we don't have to go out and find different tools for our customers. They can just use built-in warehouse from Microsoft data warehouse. But that'll be interesting to see how they bake this in. But look at it. I don't know I'll be able to test it or not. I'll have to figure out a environment where I can test it out with Power BI. But I'm pretty sure there is a package or a module available for Power BI for this, which will then plug in those reports and show them in your Business Central environment. But it's an interesting take. I would be interested in looking at it rather than suggesting different custom solutions for the reporting purposes.
Let me know if you need environment.
Sure, sir. We'll talk about it as this is out. Yeah, because it doesn't seems to come into the preview, so it will be available. It seems in October, maybe in a CU. So we'll surely talk about it because I'll be looking at it. I because it looked pretty nice when they showed it on the screen. To be very fair, and it was operational. It was not a picture. So if it and how much of Power BI, what kind of Power BI license is required, all those details are very important in this case. So let's see how that goes.
October 2024 means it will be in the main version, right?
Yes, October, yeah, in the CU0, yeah, but there is no preview for it, so we'll not be able to see it in next month. In September is the release, right?
It should be
Yeah, September.
1 month
So
earlier.
CU1. Yeah, so CU1. So
So release will be in October. General.
general release will be in October or September. Am I going
It's
ahead of my
April.
time?
April and October, right?
Oh, October. So yeah, I'm seriously going ahead of my time. Okay, so yeah, October. So then yeah, it'll be out on CU0 and then public preview will be late. I was looking at it today. I thought maybe it'll be out sometime today, but okay, next month. Okay, so I have time to think about it. Access keys with key tips in more languages. Drag and drop. I guess everybody have done it now, but let's see. This is there. Keys with key tips in more languages. You can now access keys with key tips regardless of your language setting in my settings. Key tips are optimized for following languages. Okay. Web client, when you press Alt, oh, okay. So I thought keys, but this is key, keyboard key. I thought key for users. Okay. So when you click Alt, you get a shortcut menu and you still get it today. But I guess there are new languages that will be supported into it. That's the only enhancement. So right now, if your user is on one page and they don't know shortcuts about it, they can just go to that page and hit the Alt button. And as soon as they do, all these shortcuts pop up. And then if you know where you have to go, you start following the key pattern. So if I have to go under actions, I'll do XA, will take me inside there and then will tell me the other shortcut. So if I'm going functions, F, and then HID area. So that was there, but I guess it's coming up into different languages. So that's the only enhancement, I guess, at this point. Okay. And they may not have a shortcut key defined by the developer, and that's okay. Microsoft will kind of create that key at the runtime, shortcut key at the runtime when it's needed. Drag and drop on file dialog, attach multiple files. So I'm pretty sure people have done it on their custom solutions. If they haven't, it's pretty easy to how to do it on custom solutions. But having said that, we should not and we don't modify the Microsoft behavior on the standard pages. So our favorite, what do you call that? The document attachment feature in Business Central will now be available with this drag and drop feature, which will allow you to select multiple files. It was till now limited to only select one file. So going forward, you will be able to see where you can choose multiple files into it. This will be available in document attachment, incoming document, and email editor. So all these three different areas, you will be able to drag files, multiple files into it and import them into it. And for customs, you can surely do it. It's super easy. I have tested it out. I think I should have a code somewhere on my GitHub. So go ahead if you are listening to it later and you are interested into it. The code should be available in GitHub. Let me see if I have the link somewhere for that repo. Okay. But it surely helps it because you don't have to then deal with it manually of uploading each files individually. So here is the video about it. If you're interested how you upload multiple files into document attachment, I did it on document attachment C, but you can surely do it on your custom pages if needed. And if you're interested, the code is available here in upload multiple files. And you don't have to do it from Microsoft. I was just testing it out. But you have to do it for the custom scenarios. You can just add a page extension in that area, add an action of type file upload action, and then inside that you can read all the files that user have dragged, where you have to do set this, which is allow multiple file upload. Otherwise, it only supports one file at a time. And then the new action type allows you to kind of, the action trigger has a parameter which is file, which is a list of file upload. And then for each file, whatever you want to do, you can do it. So here I'm reading the file, putting into the stream, and then uploading it somewhere. So you can just add that action or the drag down into the page, in the custom page where you want it. So on the custom scenarios, use this. For the base scenarios, Microsoft seems to bake it into three different areas right now. Incoming document, email editor. So you'll not now be able to add multiple files into it. Okay. Last but not least is you will be able to resize the column when personalization isn't enabled. So you don't have to get into personalization mode and then drag and resize your column, which seems a pretty good update into it, because I don't want to save those personalization where I've just dragged and dropped the fields or increase the length of field and decrease the length of field. So I'll be able to just do it on the go as I need it. My only worry is, will it be saved against my user, or do I have to do it every time? Get it done quicker on any page, best in of both worlds. Column size preferences now join many other simple UI adjustments that are stored in your browser. Using in private or incognito browsing or clearing your browser history, discard your preferences. Okay, so it is not getting stored in your Business Central environment, which is good. It's actually in your browser cache. So if you clear your browsing history, which is not that common, but people do it once in a while, then those changes will be off. Otherwise, you will keep them till the point your browser is safe. And any browser update does not break it, hopefully. Because this happens often, that browser update impacts Business Central things. So hopefully that does not happen, but you'll be able to do it going forward. Okay, anything else? on anything? Because I guess we are at our time. Otherwise, we'll talk about whatever left in the next meeting or next week. Anything? Anyone?
No, nothing specific.
Is
But
that?
if you can stay after this call, once the recording is stopped.
Sure. I'll just stop the recording. So yeah, thank you. And anybody who's listening to it, the teams have discontinued their recording processes. So you will find, if you're not a default attendee, then you will find a invite on every social media platform for the next upcoming meeting, and you will have to register via Microsoft form. Sorry, that was the only thing that I could have done. This week, there were some people who did sign in from the registration form. They did not turn up, but that's another thing altogether. But there are 12 people who did sign up on the registration form. So you will see a form like this, where you can just enter your basic detail. What I need majorly is your email and name. And if you don't want to do it every week, you can then choose to be the default one. And then based on you being default one, you'll be invited going forward. With the changes in Microsoft Team, this was the only thing that I could have done. So sorry if you were bugged with that, but that's the
So
only
what's the
alternative.
change in my Teams?
So I cannot set up a meeting where I can add people who are predefined, and others can register for it and directly get added to the meeting. The only option that's available in Teams right now is to set up a webinar where I cannot add you guys who are default attendees. So if I get into calendar, if I try to set up a new meeting, these are my options. So earlier, what I used to do is set up a new meeting, and let me drag this here, and I'll add all of you here, and then I'll say here that people can register. So they have removed this feature where I can create a registration form and people can directly add and automatically get joined to the meeting. So I had to, and all these other options that you see here are of no use. So like webinar, it limits me not to add more than 20 people, which I don't know who all are joining. Town hall is, again, I cannot add people, pre-defined people. Everybody will have to register. So yeah, none of these meetings were giving me options that we needed to host this. I did look at the Google Meet, but the problem is that those meetings are not recorded. I guess Zoom is another option I'm still evaluating, but they have a limit on how many attendees. After that, it gets paid. So I'll have to figure that out. What's the best option going forward? But till then, you can still follow the page and then just register there for the time being. Okay, I'll stop recording, and then people who are listening to it, we'll see you next week. And let's stop it. Done.